Now next is the laws of limiting friction. Limiting friction, as we have discussed earlier, is the opposing force that comes into play when one body is just at the verge of moving over the other. It is called the maximum friction of all. That is why the laws belong to this kind of friction. So actually, many of these laws can be applicable to kinetic and static friction also. All the laws rather are applicable to static and kinetic friction both. So coming to the first point, it says limiting friction is directly proportional to normal reaction. Now actually, how this is the law, this is the law which is given, and what are the points that we should understand in this law basically. So you suppose if you try to move a body, if it is heavy, then it is very difficult for you to make it move. So you can say limiting friction is large. If its weight increases somehow more, then you will say friction is large, meaning the weight of a body is somehow in link with the friction. So if weight of a body is very high, so normal reaction provided to the body is also very large. When the surface is horizontal, normal reaction and weight are equal to each other. Actually, what is normal reaction? It is kind of measure to how much extent the weight is pushing the ground backward. Because when you place a body of mass m and weight mg over the ground, it will press the ground by a weight mg. Ground equal and oppositely presses it back, which is in the form of normal reaction. So both are equal if the bodies are solid. Number two, if the surface is horizontal. Now if you will apply some force on the body, that is P, then the friction will be in opposite direction, and friction will be directly proportional to normal reaction. So more the weight of the body is, more will be the limiting friction. Further, the friction upon normal reaction is termed as a constant, which is mu. It is called as the coefficient of friction. Coefficient of friction. Now something about this quantity is unitless as well as dimensionless. And one more thing about this quantity is this may vary. If the surfaces are smooth, its value will be less. If the surfaces are rough, its value will be more. So value of coefficient of friction between two surfaces decides that how much friction is there in the surfaces. Now coming to point number 2, which says friction is always opposite to the applied force, that we have discussed earlier also. One more point, that the friction always acts tangentially between the two surfaces, meaning point of contact between two surfaces will be the point where the friction is going to act. Friction will not act in air, as the applied force always is from the center of mass of the body, but friction will be acting on the ground. Coming to the third point. Third point says friction is independent of apparent area of contact between the two bodies, but provided the normal reaction between two surfaces remain same. We can think of this point like if we have two boxes and the two boxes are of 5 kg, 5 kg, then the total weight that is acting down below is mass of first body, the weight is 2 mg. Hence the normal reaction will be in accordance with this 2 mg. Now area of contact is double. Say area of contact of first body is A, area of contact of second body is A. So it is calculated that friction in these two surfaces is F. Suppose if you are pulling this body with the force P, friction is in opposite direction with the friction F. Normal reaction is R. Now if these two bodies are placed in such a manner, here area was A, meaning area in this case was 2A. Now if these two bodies are placed over and above each other, mass of one body is M, mass of other body is M, then the weight of the body which is acting downwards is mg again, and the normal reaction will be R again. Area has reduced to half because now area is A, applied force is P, but you will see in experiments, and experimentally it is observed, friction will remain same. So what do we mean by this? Friction is not depending on the area of contact until the force until the normal reaction force is same. In both the cases normal reaction was same, no? Hence friction will be same in both the cases. So this was the third law. Now coming to law number 4. The friction between two surfaces is dependent on what kind of surfaces they are. For example, if we have one surface as wood, other surface as wood, so there is some kind of friction between them. If one surface is made of wood and other surface of leather, friction will reduce somehow, meaning there would be a different value of friction, meaning friction is changing when the two surfaces are changing their nature. If steel on steel is observed, it has friction. If steel on aluminium is observed, then it has some lesser amount of friction, meaning friction changes. I can tell you the values of mu for these. Wood on wood have a value of mu as 0.7. Now if we'll consider wood on leather, it is 0.5. If you will consider glass on glass, it will be having a value of 0.94. So you are watching na, wood is a rough surface, glass is kind of plain surface, but wood and wood have lesser friction, glass and glass more friction, because we have discussed two smooth surfaces has cold weldings and friction increases, right? So this is one point. Also it depends on state of polish. So if you consider, if wood and wood, but one wood is polished and other wood is also polished, the friction will reduce. I cannot tell the value actually, but friction will reduce in that case. And considering another example, if one surface is over another surface and there is a layer of water in between them, friction will reduce further. If there is a layer of oil in between them, friction will reduce further. So friction can change its value depending on nature of the two surfaces and also on the state of polish, like what kind of condition they have. They are wet, they are dry, they are oily, they are polished, etc.